Yes, 3 Count Commentaries is on the air. This is your host, MagMongoSlade. So for the last, 2-3 months, the focus has been largely on CM Punk and the Elite and all of the infighting going on yonder. But under the surface, there has been a lot more infighting on a quieter level because it doesn't really feature big enough stars. But it seems that Britt Baker, Toni Storm, and others are not big fans of your girl Thunder Rosa. And of course, this comes out again as Britt Baker went on the Swerve City podcast, kind of taking, let's say, throwing shade at Thunder Rosa, in which she talked about how she worked through all of her injuries. And she didn't need to say, unlike some people, because basically that's what she was saying, that she worked through all of her injuries. Even if it was just showing up to do promos, she felt like she was doing work. And this, of course, questions Thunder Rosa's work ethic. Under the radar, but it's certainly a challenge of Thunder Rosa's work ethic. On October the 17th, Toni Storm had did an interview with, I forget who she did an interview with, but this is going to be a little bit of a transcript. Or she talked to Chris Mueller of Bleacher Report. She says the next thing for her would be to, quote, I guess my first thing would be to beat Thunder Rosa and stop this interim nonsense. That's kind of been bothering me. I think there's been bothering a lot of people because she's still calling herself the AEW Women's Champion, and I'm the one here doing work every week. So this is the second time Toni Storm has kind of thrown a little bit of shade at Thunder Rosa. We know that there's a history between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker that goes back to what is this, Battle of the Belts, where Thunder Rosa supposedly injured Jamie Hayter. Well, maybe even before that, maybe even over a year ago, with the whole sandbagging claims and all of this stuff that's been going on under the radar. And that's not it. That's not all. This also came out recently that AEW has sort of slowed down on booking Thunder Rosa's friends. Now, this is something that was later on disputed, but we're going to talk about it. So it says, in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer stated that it was brought to his attention that many of the extras used by AEW, who were close to Thunder Rosa, had not been booked recently. Kylan King, Maddie Ranowski, and Jasmine Allure are among those names. There is no confirmation as to why it was decided not to use them. So this floated around for a little while before Captain Sean Dean, who actually does the booking of extras in AEW, says, quote, it's the kind of careless reporting like this causing unnecessary issues and problems for no reason. You have no info, yet still report this dumb BS. All those talented women are in good standing. So whoever brought that to your attention is a liar and a fraud. Salute. So, okay, so let's say it's not true. Then it very well could be not true. Doesn't mean that when there's smoke, there's definitely fire. And what we're seeing here is there's smoke in a lot of different directions for Thunder Rosa. And that has led to a lot of people kind of saying that maybe Thunder Rosa need to get the hell out of AEW. You know, some people, it's not looking good, and it hasn't been looking good for a long time. Those of you who maybe have not been paying much attention, the Thunder Rosa heat goes back almost 2 years to her issues with Ivelisse Velez, which the two of them had a little bit of an issue in the ring during a match. Ivelisse was released not too long after that. She then went online and kind of bitched about it. Then when the sandbagging claims came out, Ivelisse returned saying that I was right all along, and basically Thunder Rosa was sort of the flavor of the month, therefore she was listened to and Ivelisse wasn't. And now Thunder Rosa is kind of slipping down the flavor of the month bracket, even though we know that Tony Khan's best girl is Britt Baker, and Toni Storm is his new flavor of the month. They're being allowed to take shots at Thunder Rosa kind of unrestrained on podcasts and interviews. Now, is there a chance that all of this could be a work? It's entirely possible it could be. But once again, just like the CM Punk situation, if it's a work, how does it benefit the company for people to go on record as not really liking Thunder Rosa, who is supposed to be the top female babyface in the division? How does that really benefit the company? It doesn't. But, so, whether it's a worker or not, same thing with the whole CM Punk and the Elite stuff, whether you believe it is a worker or not, whether you believe it's really happening or not. Same thing with the Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston stuff, or the Andrade and Sammy Guevara stuff. You can believe that it's a work, if that's what you want. What I'm saying is, there's a laundry list of things here. Again, we're grouping like objects. There has been things going on with Thunder Rosa and AEW for 2 years. Going all the way back to when she first started coming into AEW. And now here she is as the women's champion, technically. But again, Toni Storm is doing the work. And Tony Khan is sitting next to Toni Storm while Toni Storm is taking shots at Thunder Rosa. So Thunder Rosa did have a response for Toni Storm, which is very interesting. And so let's talk about that. So this, she addressed Toni Storm on Busted Open. She says, I know that you texted me this week after you saw an article written about, and I love the clickbait, right? Toni Storm has something to say about Thunder Rosa and the interim championship. And I really want to address this because it has come to my attention, not from necessarily people that work in the place that I work, but some veterans have informed me that there is a widespread of lies going on in different parts. And I'm part of this rumors or whatever. And when I read these comments about the interim championship, they came to me as no surprise. I have not been on national TV for the last 2 months, and my name keeps being mentioned, either for good or for bad. But in the first month and a half, there was a lot of controversy around Thunder Rosa and what Thunder Rosa was and was not doing. First, with people diminishing my line of work. It is interesting because as a Latina, for a long time I tried to stay away from it, but I think it's time for me to say that something about my work. As a Latina, it's very hard to make a name for yourself because I'm not a second generation wrestler. I am a self-made, and I've had the opportunity, and I've had the great chance to work in many different companies where they believe in my work. And sometimes it just takes one privileged person or someone with clout to like a tweet and destroy everything you've done. And again, it influences how fans see and perceive you as a wrestler. And this time, I remember a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how one of my coworkers had come out and do a live feed, which I was ready to do a live feed on Wednesday, but I wanted to use Busted Open instead. And I wanted to say that it's important for you guys, if you don't hear from me, just don't say anything. If you're in the back and you're in distress about me being the champion and me being called the champion, I don't call the shots. I have a boss. There's a booker in our office that makes the decisions. So if you are distraught about what is being booked, maybe you should talk to your booker and keep my name out of your mouth. I mean, it's really hard when people are approaching you and they're still asking you, because I have friends that ask me if I'm faking an injury. And I'm telling you, these rumors are started by one or two people and they just spread out. And it's not fair. I don't feel like no other wrestler has gone through this, like not at all. If somebody gets hurt, they're like, oh, they're hurt. But when it was me, it was immediately after everybody was writing the get wells on Twitter. After my promo came out, it was just like a flood of disgusting things that were naturally came out, and I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of it. It is really hard for me to manage some of this stuff, but I have to face it. I am hurt. And if you have something to ask, you can go on my YouTube and watch my YouTube videos. I have posted every time I'm in a doctor's office, showing you and explaining to you what's going on with me. As a matter of fact, in a week or two, I'm getting another epidural so I can go back to training, because I want to get back in the ring. I want to get back in the ring, and that's it. I want to show you when they put the needle in my back so they can shut the fuck up and stop saying that I'm not hurt. That hurts because I'm trying to get out and trying to mentally get prepared to get back in the ring, to get back at what I love to do the most, which is professional wrestling. But again, there are certain people that cannot keep my name out of their mouths. I mean, am I that important in their lives for them to continue to create more and more rumors about what I'm doing or what I'm not doing? I mean, Busted Open Nation. I am really sorry that I have to say this again, but I want to use this platform because enough is enough. And some people were texting me, Melissa, why did you put that on Facebook? Because enough is enough. I am tired. I want to get better mentally, physically, spiritually. And when people, I have to pause right here. How many times have we seen I got to get better mentally, physically, and spiritually in relation to AEW wrestlers? This is like the fourth one, right? This is like the fourth person to use the I need to get better mentally, physically, and spiritually. What the fuck are they doing to people in AEW? Like, I thought WWE was doing people bad. But this is like the third or fourth person in the span of 2 months who needs to get spiritually better from AEW. These people see each other once a week. Once a week. They're together one time a week. What are they doing? What are they running? What the hell are they running there? Is it a sweatshop? How can these people be in so much trouble and they only see each other once a week? All right, let's get back to this thing. And when people have absolutely nothing to do but to create rumors and spread them out of texting me directly because you all got my number, it creates a lot of problems in my career with my family. Because my family are worried, they get harassed, they get everything else. This person is trying to find dirt on me. Like, seriously. I'm telling you on national radio, and also the listeners that I listen to Wrestling in America, just keep my name out of your mouth and shut up. If you have a problem, you know what? I'm transparent. What you see is what you get. That's the truth. I am very proud of what I've done to provide for my family and others. And one thing I want to mention, I will never forget the time that I was trying to raise money for Uvalde families. I was trying to raise money for 20 families that lost their kids. And I don't know who the heck decided that it was a great idea to talk to the dirt sheets and talk shit about me. And unfortunately, we were not able to raise money like we tried to. We only raised $5,000, which is nothing. They took away the goodness of what we're trying to do for other purposes. What is the purpose of trying to destroy somebody's career or somebody's status when they work so hard and the only thing that they're trying to do is feed their family? I am still hurt. They haven't given me a time yet when I'm coming back. I'm saying it's January, and I hope it's January. And again, if Tony Storm disagrees with what's decided in the back, that's not my problem. That is not my problem, Tony. And when I get better, because I will still be champion, if my boss lets me be the champion, if he doesn't, I will be okay with that decision too, because I don't make the rules. And that needs to be said. I feel your pain, Tony Storm. I really do get your pain. I really want to know, I read that you are doing all the work every single week. Guess what? I'm doing the same work. I'm trying to get better, to get back into the ring, to defend this championship. But in the meantime, get some wins under your belt so you can talk shit about Thunder Rosa. And that goes for anyone in the back or anyone who feels they have a target on their back because I am still the champion. Well, I'm sorry. Have some respect. I have done nothing. I have never disrespected anybody in the company. I have so many opportunities because I work on Busted Open Radio. And if I want, I can trash anyone. But what is the point? Now, this popped up on October the 21st. So this was, of course, after Tony Storm made the comments that she feels like she's doing all the work. And on October the 24th was the Britt Baker Swerve City podcast, where she basically went out and said that when she was injured and she's broken every bone in her face and hands and whatever, she worked through all of her injuries, and Thunder Rosa kind of is not. So there it is. There's a lot of heat coming down on Thunder Rosa, but I know it seems like people are ganging up on her. You know, that's what it sounds like if you're just kind of looking at this thing in one direction. But there was this little piece of business with Conan. Now, Conan and Thunder Rosa are really close because Conan is Cuban, but he kind of runs wrestling in Mexico. And he's been an ambassador for Latino wrestlers for the last 30 years or so, helping the careers of Juventud Guerrera and Rey Mysterio and Psychosis and a bunch of other guys. Most recently, Phoenix and Pentagon. He's helped Laredo Kid get into Impact. He's been helping El Hijo del Vikingo get into the United States and get work, Commander and all these other guys. So Conan is a bigwig in Mexican pro wrestling. And he went on an absolute rampage on his own guy who hosts his podcast. He cut the guy down because the guy said that Thunder Rosa injured her back. But it turns out Conan said Thunder Rosa told him, that it was his knee. I want to get these comments, precisely, because I don't like to spread misinformation. So let's try to find those exact comments. So here's the comments. This was from September of 2022, September the 2nd. Conan says, quote, I actually asked her, I said, yo, why would you tell me it's your knee when it's your back? She says, oh, I thought it was my back. I go, no, you told me it's your fucking knee. Why would you say that? It's either your knee or your back. There is no confusing it. That's like me telling you, yeah, I'm not going to show up because I have an eye infection. And then I go, no, what I really meant is my knee. This conspiracy guy in me felt like maybe I can be absolutely wrong. That maybe for having problems backstage, they sat her down and said, say you're injured, but she could also be injured. So Konnan, to some degree, thinks that she was getting some heat, so they decided to send her home for a little while and just try to use an injury to cover it up. But Konnan has basically come out and said that she was lying, or that she at least lied to him. And it made him look silly because he went on his podcast and was defending her as the guy, I think his name is Joe. I don't know what he actually does. I think he's just kind of the stooge. Like all of these wrestling podcasters, they have a stooge. Basically a fan that they know and trust, and he does all their leg work. And he was reading articles from the dirt sheets that said it was Thunder Rosa's back. And Konnan was like, well, I talked to her personally, and she said it was her knees. And who are you going to believe? Me, who talked to her, or you, or who listening to the dirt sheets? And then the very next week, that's when he had to put it out there that she had told him the bad information. So it turns out that Thunder Rosa isn't, the baby face in this situation. There is some suspicious behavior going on in AEW. And of course, we know about the whole sandbagging t-shirt that Thunder Rosa had. It said sandbagging since 2014 because people believe that she was sandbagging in her match with, I believe it was Marina Shafir. So Thunder Rosa's got a lot of heat. She's got a lot of heat, which leads to a lot of people thinking she needs to get the hell out of AEW. And look, these people see each other once a week. AEW really tapes Rampage after Dynamite. I think it might be twice a week because I think they tape Dark on Mondays or something like that. I don't know when they do Dark. I'm not sure. I'm not even about to lie to you, but I'm guessing they do all of their tapings in 1 or 2 days. So they're not with each other 3 or 4 days a week. They're not with each other as often as the WWE crew is. So why is it there's so much heat backstage with AEW? And this, of course, goes back to Tony Khan not being a very good leader. Because this Thunder Rosa stuff has been going on for over a year between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. And nobody really cared about Tony Khan's leadership when it comes to the girls. And people noticed that you got guys backstage punching each other in the face. CM Punk going out there shooting on the Elite at the all-out brawl, all-out scrum. And that caused people to question Tony Khan's leadership abilities. But what about this? This has been going on for a while now. This Britt Baker, this Britt Baker Thunder Rosa thing has been going on for a while. Different stories have been coming out of Thunder Rosa being scared of Britt Baker and hiding in the bathroom and all this kind of crap. This has been going on for several months and it will not stop. It's the exact same situation as what was going on with the Elite and CM Punk. It's a situation where people like Britt Baker are beloved by the wrestling media, and therefore they might be getting fed stories. I'm not saying that that's exactly what's happening, but what I'm saying is it's very suspicious that a lot of this stuff is anti-Thunder Rosa. And it is just like a lot of that stuff that was coming out that was sort of, well, especially these days, that's anti-CM Punk, where pretty much everybody's given up on CM Punk, and even Wade Keller is throwing CM Punk under the bus, and Dave Meltzer is throwing CM Punk under the bus. Like, how long will it take before Thunder Rosa is next? And she's going to be the next one looking to get a buyout, because who knows who's going to come out and say Thunder Rosa is the big bad problem. Or she's going to have to put her hands on somebody, and that's going to be a different problem, too. So, Thunder Rosa's in trouble. She probably doesn't feel like it. And since she won't be wrestling until January, this shit won't be over anytime soon. Now, if you're Tony Khan, what should you do? Well, you should have stripped Thunder Rosa a long time ago. You should have said, okay, she was injured. You shouldn't be doing this interim championship thing anyway. Then you wouldn't have the Tony Storm problem. Because that seems all she really cares about is that Thunder Rosa dies doing a job to her. And it is what it is. But if all she wants to do is be the champion, you can solve her problems just by saying, fuck it, you're the champion. Thunder Rosa isn't champion anymore. She's going to be out for too long. It is what it is. But then the Britt Baker thing has to come to a head. You got to sit these girls down and try to talk it out. You got to get some more control over what's going on here. Swerve works for AEW, so does Britt Baker. Why are they sitting here kind of needling the Thunder Rosa heat? Why are they doing that? It doesn't benefit anybody to do this. It doesn't make Thunder Rosa look good because she can't work in this situation. She's not working. She's not on TV. So she can't really respond in any other way outside of doing random interviews for like Busted Open or somebody else. So really, and what does creating heat between the two of them, how is that going to equal money when they can't work together? Which is the exact same crap I was saying before about all of these people who are not going to work together, who don't have, or maybe even have the same alignment as if they're both baby faces or they're both heels or something like that. It doesn't really benefit them. And that's exactly what we have with Toni Storm and Thunder Rosa. They're both baby faces. So you're going to try to create this heat between the two of them. But are you really going to build a story off of Toni Storm taking pot shots at Thunder Rosa when she was injured? Well, if that's the case, you're turning Toni Storm heel because she's talking shit about somebody who can't fight back, who can't do nothing, who doesn't have the same platform. And if you're trying to build some heat between this match, you should probably do it on a bigger stage where more people know about it. And if you were going to do this, you probably shouldn't be doing this underneath the similar things you're doing with Andrade and Eddie Kingston and people who are bigger stars. This would be a great angle if it was an angle, and you weren't also doing it with people who are bigger stars. So that tells me it's not an angle. It's just that Tony Khan doesn't have any control over his locker room. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on. These people are loose cannons. They're just firing off on each other. It's pissing everybody off. There's going to be some more problems. And because the guys are more likely to get physical because they're men, and they typically, if you feel challenged, you're going to go and see what's up. The girls are going to continue to gossip and backbite, and eventually it'll turn into somebody throwing hands. But it hasn't done that yet. So Tony Khan is causing this problem, and Thunder Rosa is unfairly being pinned to the goddamn wall because it seems to be everybody against Thunder Rosa, and I have yet to hear to anybody really on Thunder Rosa's side. And the one person who would have been Conan, and he feels like she lied to him. So tough. This is a tough situation. But I feel like this has to be discussed. What do you guys think? Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.
MagMongoSlade. Best house I ever drew, Daddy.